Good morning and welcome in. My name is Mitch Nellis, aka Thunder. This is A Little Thunder, live on Facebook Live. It is Thursday morning, January 7th, and thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this experiment. Thank you for being part of this community. Morning to you, Steve. Great to see you here. Tommy, great to see you. As we click the link to watch and everybody gets in. Thank you, everybody, for getting in and for being part of this community and for being part of what I do on a daily basis, something I really do look forward to, something I hope you look forward to as well. It's a different kind of day, though, today. No doubt about it. It's a day that I assume most of us never thought we'd see in our lifetime. American citizens attacking the U.S. Capitol. Good morning to you, Mort. Thank you for being here. I don't think we ever saw that happening, or saw, or thought about that happening. I know we've seen a lot of peaceful. I should wear a hat, Miss Thunder. I'm good. I think we saw a lot of peaceful protests over the past couple of years. Frankly, we've seen a lot of protests go from peaceful to not peaceful, and we've seen a lot of violence on our streets. But I don't know that we expected to see the U.S. Capitol attacked by U.S. citizens. As I talked about yesterday, I am no political expert. I'm just a guy with an opinion. I watch the news. I read. Mrs. Thunder would probably say I don't read enough, which is probably true. But I read a fair amount, and probably too much of it is news and is headlines and stuff like that. But I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we ever saw or thought of it or envisioned that we lived in a country where its own citizens would attack its own government and try to overthrow it. Led by the president. Where the president attacks his own country. I don't know that we ever conceived of that. I read a lot of dystopia. It was definitely no coup because there was no rhyme or reason, and there was no. Tommy said it was a violent protest for sure, but no coup. It was only not a coup because it wasn't successful. If Trump had wanted it to be to evolve into a true coup, I think it was pretty close. It was pretty close. Tommy had a great meme yesterday. He said, 2021 just said to 2020, hold my beer. And somebody responded to that and said, I think this is more 2020 hangover. And I hope that person's right. I hope this isn't 2021. I hope that this is a hangover from 2021. That's what I hope it is. So I don't know. As I was saying, I read a lot of dystopian future fiction. From anything from Ready Player One to all sorts of. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy seeing I remember The Road, where it's like a man and his son just walking, trying to get to someplace better. Stuff like that, where The Hunger Games is dystopia future, where there was a catastrophic event, whether it was environmental or whether it was nuclear or whatever it might have been. The Handmaid's Tale did this, really well before the genre really was cool. And I really enjoy like alternate futures and tales of survival those sort of things. Happy New Year to you, Scott. Great to see you here. That's what we were watching yesterday. We were watching the first chapter, or not even the first chapter. We were watching that 50 years from now, there's a dystopian book or story that started with yesterday, or maybe it started 4 years ago, or maybe it started even longer than that. But that yesterday isn't even talked about. Kind of like in The Handmaid's Tale, they don't really talk about what happened in Congress and how the government, they refer to it, but they don't tell you the whole story. I hope we remember the whole story of what happened yesterday, and I hope people are honest enough to be able to tell each other what it was. It was a coup, Tommy, because they had a leader. Because if they were able to take over the building and take over the government, they would have turned to Trump and said, "Here, we did this for you. You are now in charge. You are our dictator." I think that's how it, Mrs. Thunder has Station 11, The Giver, Oryx and Crake is a great one, no doubt about it. And so I think that's how it was a coup, because these people were willing, if they had been successful and just a little more organized or more willing to use their guns, which I'm thankful and frankly a little surprised that they weren't, that they would have turned to Trump and said, "There, we have secured the building. You are our dictator. You are our king and lord." And I think these people were ready to do that. And I think it says a lot. And I think another reason it was a coup is because we saw how the police and the military responded when there were Black Lives Matter protests. We saw how they didn't respond yesterday. Part of that was Trump letting it happen. Part of it was, I think, the police letting it happen. I'm not sure. I don't know what the numbers are with our military and with our police who were supportive of what happened yesterday. But it's a little scary to me. It's a little scary to me. So, and Mike, the vast majority may have been peaceful, but that doesn't mean there weren't dozens upon dozens, probably hundreds upon hundreds of agitators there as well. And they got into the Capitol. They attacked America. We were attacked yesterday. As much as it's important for our law enforcement to protect Target when it's being looted, which absolutely it should be. Target should not, our businesses should not be looted. Our businesses should not be burned. That was the U.S. Capitol that was attacked yesterday. It all feels, and I know to date it's very raw, right? It's very raw. It feels really scary. It feels really, I know it's filling us with anger. It's filling us with division, which is the opposite of where we should be headed. I will admit this, and I'm okay to admit this. I have a Parler account, and I go on Parler sometimes, and I just want to hear what people have to say. I like reading people with different opinions. It doesn't always make me happy, but sometimes on Facebook I see opinions that don't make me happy and I don't agree with. Eric says, our children are watching and listening to our actions and words. Choose kind. I love that, Eric. And so I was on Parler and somebody wrote, maybe it's time, someone who I think in the past has written about conspiracy theories, about counting the votes, those sorts of things. And I think that they wrote yesterday that, maybe it's time we choose prayer. Maybe it's time we look to repentance, and maybe it's time we move forward. So for those of you who don't know, Parler is it's like Twitter. It's typically conservative, conservative thought and conservative speech, and oftentimes it. I don't really want to use the word evolves, but I don't really want to use the word devolves either. Is that it's a lot of right wing rhetoric. I think that's what it is. Is that it's I don't, and again, I don't know how we move forward with all the anger, all the hurt, all the anti-American sentiment we see out there. I love this country. I love this country. And I want everyone to love this country. And I want there to be a place in this country for everyone. I want everyone to feel safe. I want everyone to feel free to speak their mind as long as it's in a kind and peaceful manner. I think that's what America is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be my opinion counts and yours doesn't. It's not supposed to be my way counts and yours is wrong. And if your opinion's different than mine, you're anti-American. I don't know. That's not who we're supposed to be. As people, whether we're Americans or not. As people. As humans. I don't get it. Tommy says, as a Republican, I don't want to be part of the GOP if this is what our party's going to be. I don't think this is what the GOP is, Tommy. I have a lot of friends who are Republicans, and I believe most, if not all of them, are very good people. I think this is a new party. That's what I think. Now, I put that on Twitter yesterday. I think this is the beginning of a new political party. I think what we saw at the Capitol building yesterday is a new political party. And I think we saw a lot of our Republican leadership, maybe way too late, speak out against it. Maybe it should have been, maybe somebody should have had the cojones to stand up to Trump years ago. But I do think that this is a new dawning where the vast majority of Republicans want what's best for this country. And what we saw yesterday is its own party, and I had a conversation with a friend on Facebook or on Twitter, and he thinks that's the vast minority. He really does. Of former Republicans who are now Trumpists or Trumpers or whatever it might be. And I don't know if we'll see a new party formed. I also believe that there's a chance on the left that there's a new party formed. There's this growing rift between where we see the establishment. I don't want to say older, but where we see again the more middle of the road Democrats versus the. I don't know. I don't have the right adjectives, but I think there's a lefter-leaning group that also could splinter off. I don't know if I wrote this on Facebook or Twitter. I think in 2024 we could have 4 parties. I think we could have 4 parties. And Mike, I think, and this is what I've heard from Republicans for 4 years. You can like some of Trump's accomplishments and not like his rhetoric. And I think that's true. I think that is probably true. Here's the problem. His rhetoric has now enveloped everything. You can look at the accomplishments and that's something that exists. And you can't take that away from his legacy, but his rhetoric has now dominated everything else to an extent that you can't ignore it. You can't say, "Oh, I don't like him, but I like his policies." No, that's not it anymore. That's not it anymore. It's that part is done. That part is over. So I don't know what's going to happen. Evan says I have it backwards. The people that saw this coming all along left the Republican Party years ago, formed the Lincoln Project. I think the Lincoln Project represents most Republicans, though, if you really got down to what they thought. So I wonder if there'll be a little reconciliation between the Lincoln Project and the Republicans, and they ask the Trumpers to leave. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know what we'll see there. But it's a weird day. Yesterday was an awful day. Yesterday was a truly heartbreaking day. As we all have in our lives, people to explain this to, as we try to explain this to my 7 and 10-year-old, 10.5-year-old, excuse me, 7.5 and 10.5-year-olds, 10.5 yesterday. It's heartbreaking. And so I wish for kinder days in our future. I wish for better days in our future. I wish for more opportunity for unity in our future. And I would have said this, whether Republicans or Democrats are in charge, I still think, I said 8 years ago when Obama was president, there needed to be unity. I said 4 years ago when Trump was president, there needs to be unity. There always needs to be unity because we are the United States of America. There's not my America. There's not your America. There's our America. And we need to start acting like it. We need to start taking that seriously. That it's not just whatever's good for me is good for the country. That's bullshit. Pardon my language, but that's bullshit. That's not what we're here for. Yes, we want our country. We want personal growth. We want personal success. But we also want our country. We want our community. We want our society. And frankly, we want the world. Not just the United States of America, but the entire world to act with more kindness, more grace, more opportunity, more openness, and more unity. So with that, I believe there is a birthday in the house. If Jesse and Evan can confirm that, I'll say happy birthday to my guy, Jay. Happy birthday to him. And, yep. So happy birthday, Judah. You're the man. You keep being you, buddy. You keep that spark. Judah's 11. Happy birthday, buddy. Let's go make kindness contagious. We can't hug as many people as we want to, or else I'd be out today. Today would be one of those days I'd go out on Silver Spring Drive in Whitefish Bay with a shirt that says free hugs, and I would just give everybody a hug all day. That's what I want to do. So let's go make kindness contagious today, everybody. Thunder out. Keep the conversation going.